Welcome everyone, this is Garrett Green Gaming, and today I want to talk about 60 frames per second. I can't stress how important this is. I know I've talked about it, but I can't stress how important this is for gaming to have a 60 FPS mode for console games. For console. PC is a whole different story. Those people are playing it 120, 240, and all that other shit. They don't have to worry most of the time. I'm just talking about console gaming. For console gamers, 60 frames per second is the standard. That's just the way it is for this generation. Games need to be running at 60 frames per second on console. Now, I'm talking about this now. I've been wanting to talk about it more, but I'm talking about it now because there was a recent leak about GTA 6 potentially running at 60 FPS on the PS5 Pro. Not necessarily the base consoles, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X or the Series S. Now, these leaks came from Detective Seeds. He's a leaker for a lot of PlayStation stuff. Sometimes he gets some stuff right, sometimes he gets some stuff wrong. So take it all with a grain of salt. There's been other rumors and speculation about 60 FPS potentially on the PS5 Pro. But anyway, this discussion I want to just bring to a larger discussion, not necessarily specifically about GTA 6, but I will say GTA 6 running at 60 FPS on the PS5 Pro is not good enough for me. It needs to run at 60 FPS on the base PS5 and the Series X. I'm not going to even talk about the Series S because that's basically like a last gen and a half console. So I'm not worried about that. But to me, GTA 6 should be running at 60 FPS on the base PS5, not just the PS5 Pro. Now I am going to talk about GTA for a minute here because this is important in this discussion. Now, there's really two things that I think about when I talk about 60 FPS and GTA. It's if it can run at 60 FPS and if it should run at 60 FPS, because that's two different things. My opinion is straightforward and clear. Every game in this generation should run at 60 FPS. There is no excuse. I don't care who you are. There's no excuse. Now the other question is, will it run at 60 FPS? Will they listen to me? Will they care that I think everything should run at 60 FPS? That's another question, and I think they will run it at 60 FPS, but I don't know that for sure. Obviously, I don't know for sure that GTA 6 will be at 60 FPS, but it should. And I've said this before, there's no excuse. The highest resolution, the best graphics mean nothing to me if I'm moving around at a jittery, unstable 30 frames per second. I mean, when I started playing games at 60 FPS, I couldn't go back. I can no longer play games at 30 FPS. It hurts my eyes, it gives me a headache, and it doesn't look good. All those graphics and resolution mean nothing when you're moving around at 30 frames per second. It doesn't work for me. Now there are a few reasons why I do think GTA 6 will run at 60 FPS on the base consoles. Number one, Rockstar, according to rumors and speculation and all that, Rockstar will be working with PlayStation in like a marketing deal to, promote the game and all that. And I know PlayStation considers 60s very important. I know Mark Cerny, one of the lead engineers for PlayStation, talked about how the majority of players on PS5 are picking the 60 FPS performance option. And I know PlayStation definitely wants players and wants developers to have their games run at 60 FPS. So that being said, I think PlayStation's going to help Rockstar make that happen. And according to the rumors, they've already got it working on the PS5 Pro. Now, I think Rockstar knows how important 60 FPS is now. They've recently brought GTA 5. They brought that up to 60 FPS. There's rumors that Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to get a remaster, and that will run at 60 FPS. And the arguments against GTA releasing at 60 FPS, I just don't find that compelling. A lot of them bring up the fact that Rockstar's never launched a game with a 60 FPS mode at launch, but I would say, like, yeah, because they haven't released a game in over a half decade. The last GTA game they released was over a decade ago. This is when 60 FPS wasn't the standard for consoles. And people always talk about how Rockstar is the gold standard of developers. They have over 1,000 people working on GTA 6. There is no excuse. The biggest and best studio in the business should be able to have their game running at the standard level of performance. There is no excuse. And, people don't like to compare other games, but I'll say Cyberpunk is probably the best comparison you can make to GTA 6. A huge open world, big cities and all that. That's a game that can run at 60 FPS and even higher in some cases. Now, before I wrap up the video, I just want to mention some of the other games that didn't release with a 60 FPS performance option. Like Hellblade 2, for example. A game that launched with only a 30 FPS mode. And you had people like Digital Foundry when it came out. This kind of drove me nuts. They're like, well, this game doesn't really need 60 FPS. It kind of ruins the cinematic experience if it had 60 FPS. And that just frustrated me so bad. Because I don't know this for sure, but I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that those at Digital Foundry did not play Hellblade 2 on console at 30 FPS. I can almost guarantee you that. I can almost guarantee you those guys were playing on PC and playing it at least 60 FPS on PC. So tell me if 60 FPS was going to ruin the cinematic experience of Hellblade 2, why is it capable of running at 60 FPS on PC? Explain that to me. So is the PC experience not supposed to be cinematic? Is that what you're telling me? And now, oh look, Hellblade 2 is now releasing a 60 FPS mode over a year after launch. Wouldn't you know? Is now this? It's not any longer a cinematic experience? Is that what you're telling me? You're telling me this game is no longer cinematic? I mean, that is just one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard in terms of the whole 60 to 30 FPS argument, to say that 30 FPS is somehow more cinematic than 60. That makes no sense. As soon as you take the controller and start playing for yourself and start to need the hand-eye coordination to navigate through the game and to look at the screen and go through all the different movements, 60 FPS is a must, because anything less is not a smooth, good performing experience. It's just the way it is. And it's weird to me that it's the PC people saying that 60 FPS doesn't matter. You only need 30 FPS to play games. PC people are saying that. PC are telling console players that 60 FPS doesn't matter. Meanwhile, PC people are playing at like 120 FPS. So I don't know what the heck they're talking about. I don't know if they just think console people are just like some peasants that don't deserve high quality or something like that. It's nonsense. It's complete nonsense. And 99% of video games released on this generation run at 60 FPS. There's no excuse. And even the handful of few games that did not release with the 60 FPS performance option have patched it in later on. There's now only a couple games that don't have 60 FPS at all, and I don't even know. I can't even. Is Dragon's Dogma? I thought they might have even had a 60 FPS mode added, and that game was hot mess when it was released. And that's the other thing. All these games that are not coming with 60 FPS also were did not perform well at all. They were all buggy and glitchy, and it wasn't even just the performance. It was the bugs and glitches. So that tells you right there that if a game comes out without 60 FPS, then it's unfinished. It's that simple. PS5 generation, there's no excuse. I don't care who you are. 60 FPS is the standard. Anyway, I just had to rant about that a little bit again, especially since this whole 60 FPS thing came up in the news again. I'm sure I'm not done making videos about this because to me this is extremely important. 60 FPS is a standard and it is needed for this generation. And I am praying GTA 6 launches with 60 FPS. I am praying. I need it. This is one of the most anticipated games of my lifetime, and I can't have it at 30 FPS, especially if they're going to release this thing for $80. I just can't do it. So I'm nervous about this. We got probably a year away, maybe more if they delay it again. Hopefully, you know what? If they delay it again, that might be a good sign for 60. I don't know, but I'm nervous about it, so I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm going to keep banging the drum of 60 FPS for console players. You PC guys, worry about your damn PCs and running the game at 240 FPS or whatever the fuck you're doing. Leave us console players alone with our 60 FPS. That's all we need. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. Okay? Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will be back soon with more videos. See you later.